Hi guys, my name is Mark and today we talk about the X2 by Pulsar, the small and the big version, and also we do a latency test. Stay tuned, let's go. As I said, today we talk about the Pulsar X2, which is the first symmetrical mouse by Pulsar. It comes in two sizes. Size 1 is the small, size 2 is the big. And in this video we will compare it to the Starlight, the G Pro Superlight and the Hati S Ace, which is I think in terms of mice you want to compare them with the top three, because people who want to play this mouse are mostly like ambitious players who are looking for high performance mouse which is small and has a low weight, and these are in my opinion the best choices or picks to compare to. We just start off with everything you get when you just pay like those 90 or 95 US dollars or like 99, 95 euro in Europe, which you will also can spend or do in future on our La Onda shop. We will source the Pulsar mouse for our German shop. So if you buy there, it's under German laws and rules, and we send in whole Europe and to the whole world. Just to inform you, and it will start, well, we think we will have them, we source them at the end of August. So let's begin. At first, as you can see, we are on the Pulsar homepage and it shows like, as I said, 95 US dollar for sending, plus here, if it's set to global, the shipping plus the tax. It's a fair price, and for us in Germany, we will do like 99.59 plus shipping, which was basically around 106 euro then at the end with shipping, which is also a very fair price if we compare it to the actual competition. All the other mice out there with the 3395 sensor are way above 110 euro right now, or you can't get them, or they are not available, or the pre-order got like delayed or cancelled, as you know yourself. So Pulsar is one of the very first brands out there with a 3395 sensored symmetrical mouse in two shapes, which is very good. And I will show you the rest of it right now. Next step will be, besides it's their first symmetrical, that they have made a lot of stuff, a lot of optimization to the shape, the mouse itself. It is, in my opinion, not a clone to any shape available right now. Some people will say, yeah, basically it's like a Soviet ZA shape. It kind of is, and it's also not a kind of Soviet ZA shape. We see a lot of claims here on the web, on the browser page, where whilst I'm scrolling down, you see it's like 56 gram, and for the weight I have to say the black one, the big one, size 2 is 56 gram, and the small one, the size 1, is 55 gram in white. So the weight balance, or no, not the weight balance, the difference in weight from those both sizes is not that huge, to be honest. And yeah, I would wish it, or I wish it would be more. Also, the size itself, it's not really like an M&S. It's like the other one is just a little bit smaller. But to be honest, for me, this little bit smaller helped me a lot whilst playing Apex. With the big one, it was a little bit too clunky for me, and the one smaller felt kind of perfect because it's not as thin as a Starlight S, for example. It's a little bit more width, so it's more broad, and it feels more like you have more in hand, and the hand feels more relaxed. Also, I think the hump in the back compared to a Starlight, which has the hump in the middle, is for people who have like a claw grip or who have like a half palm or part palm the mouse. It's way more enjoyable to have it at the end when they get used to like those combination of palm claw or claw to fingertip grips. I think they will be able to play way more relaxed with this one than with the Starlight, to be honest. Also, the overall feeling is way better in terms of build quality than it is on the Starlight. So I just continue to scroll down on this webpage. It's like, you see crispy clicks. They still use those K clicks. They use now a gold TTC encoder. I already mentioned in German review, TTC is basically it's a huge producer for switches in general. They basically are from the automotive branch, and in the automotive branch, basically all high premium class cars have TTC encoders or switches in there. You don't see them, but they're in there. TTC is one of the biggest brands in China for this. So they also have very high quality products, and the TCGC Gold encoder is a high quality product. Besides, as you already know or may know, is that Pulsar, since they updated the V2 or the V shape, the ergonomic shape, learned a lot about placement and height and feedback or the feedback feeling of the mouse wheel, and they just paralleled it or just put it over to the X2, and the feeling or the size and the placement of the mouse wheel is very good. I just It's tactile, not super loud. The encoder itself is not too heavyweight, but also not too loose. Also, the switch click feeling is very good. The scales sound like this. Also very good click feeling. For me, like I know those KL 8.0 still have a big hype, but for me it's like I would love to see some other options like Huano Blue Pinks, Zippies, Japanese OMROMs, for example. Like, would be cool if there would be more options for people to choose from, but maybe later. At the end, the KL 8.0 is not a bad switch, but it's also not the fastest in terms of latency, because the wafer plate inside is a big contactor, and it's like, how can I say, the time it needs to react or to move after the release is a little bit long, so the click is like, the latency is like half to 1 milliseconds slower, so longer than, for example, compared to a good OMRON. Just keep this in mind when I come back to latency later. So we just continue scrolling on the webpage. Here they explain those claw and fingertip grip. That's basically what the mice is made for, not gonna lie. It's a fingertip or claw tip mouse. Sure, you can palm it, but I think most people are roughly go or want to go competitive. That's why I said I have no idea who still palms a mouse like back in 1985, like I showed on my Vaxi video. Who does this? Who plays like this? No one does this anymore. I think people learned that a claw grip or a relaxed F-type or relaxed claw is way better for their aim or in general for their performance in any game, or also in Counter-Strike or Valorant, guys. So they thought a lot about the shape, and they reworked the shape to fit those grip styles, and it's made very good. Here they talk about the sensor and the power efficiency. The 3395 basically is the flagship sensor right now for wireless usage. It's based or like the next level of 3399 sensor, which basically was made for wired work, but Razer also used them into wireless products. So the 3395 is like less energy consuming and has a different sensor lightning level. So basically the sensor can work with less light compared to the 3399, and it has like another voltage, so energy consumption in general, whilst reading your mouse pad. That's the basic thing here. It has a little bit higher IPS, a higher DPI rate. It has a different motion tracking engine in there compared to 3370. This is like 2 levels above, and you will feel it, and the DPI derivation should be smaller or less big than on other 3370 models. That's why I also don't understand the next model O and Pro O, or however they call it, and Glorious will be BAMF, so 3370. I have no idea why they do this. The 3395 is available. You can see it, and Pulsar puts it into a mouse for less than 100 bucks. Very good work. And you feel it. We played Apex with it. Also my cameraman tried. It's an awesome one-to-one feeling. You can't judge it to be bad or something like that. Here you have a lot of pictures by them. Here you see black and white. As I said, it's like weight is nearly the same. Here you can see the measurements. It's not 120, so 12 centimeter high. It's 12 centimeter long, and it's 3.8 centimeter high. So this is height and this is length. The width is 63. This is for the big one, for the size 2. For the size 1, it's only a little bit less. It's like 61, and I think it's 115. I don't know it right out of my mind, but just to have a brief or short overview about this. Here you already have again those information about the sensor. The sensor is not a Nordic. I think it's an NXP sensor. Nordic is, for example, is here in G Pro, and the implementation of Nordics is a little bit different than in NXPs, but that's okay. We talk about, or have a short talk about it later in terms of latency. Here you can see everything else. It says whatever it has, how customizable it is, and I can show you the software. Pulsar sent me upfront the software. Whilst I'm recording this video, you are not able to download the software on the page, but they sent me a pre-version. That's a pre-version. That's not the final version of software for the X2. I don't have it on. Sorry for this. It's on here. You can set the debounce time. It comes with debounce time set to 4 milliseconds. I tested it with 4 milliseconds, then I said, okay, the latency is too high in my opinion. I contacted Pulsar, I said, I need the software to put the debounce to 0 milliseconds, because all the other mouse I test on mice, I also put to 0 milliseconds, or to 1 or 2, whatever is available, the lowest. Please send me software. They sent me 1 week later, so yesterday, and I'm very glad the latency got way better compared to the one before. And in general, I have to say the software is very slick, very good to use. It's always loading you when you go from main to switching the mouse. Also, this is the way you can check if it's saved or not. You can set 4 different DPIs. The DPI button is here on the bottom, and if you change the DPI, you have the DPI indicator on the side. The same LED is also the battery indicator, by the way. So as you can see, it's 4 DPI modes. I just show you one thing. I set it to DPI 3, then I choose one DPI stage, 1600, but as you see, it's not selected. If you have it here different, like it's 800 or something, you only want to use this, you need to select it by hand. Oh wait, I need to select it here. You need to select it by hand, and that's what you should do, you know? It's like, keep this in mind if you select it. Then polling rate, you should have it at 1000 Hertz. Maybe more hertz later, I have no idea, no one told me from Pulsar, I hope so. Mouse parameters here are set from Windows, should be look like this, to be honest. DPI effects are off. I have no idea if they're giving me a check. Okay, it's working. These DPI effects are here for the side DPI. You can use this, by the way. It's like breathing, speed. Here. I don't know if you need this. It's working. I set LOD to 2 millimeters because it's better for you to scan your mousepad, believe me. So that's basically it. I wouldn't use ripple or angel snapping. Ripple is for the effect for straightening your mouse lines, you know. I wouldn't use it, and angel snapping is pretty much the same. It all will higher your latency on the motion, so on any movement, and sometimes it can feel like off. Some people say it's good, it helps me to not jitter that much. If you jitter too much, maybe change your grip or get another share, or I don't know. Please don't use this. So that's the software. It's pretty slick, pretty good, as I said. And just for comparison, we compare, for example, the Starlight in length, which is pretty much the same length, as I said already, like the size 1. It's a little, the Starlight is not that width, so it's not broad. In general, I would say for a more relaxed and for a wider grip, the X2 is way better. What's more the biggest difference is the size in general and the shape. The Pulsar has more like the hump in the last quarter, and the Starlight has the hump or the highest point in the middle, which basically will bring me to one point. If you play the Pulsar, if you saw it on the pictures, claw would be pretty much like this. You grip it like this. That's the claw, yeah. And if you have the fingertip, you would pretty much use it like this here, or I would use it like this, because I would try to use this part of the mouse to place my thumb, and this part of the mouse to place my small finger, my pinky, because that's the way I'm using it, because I want to have this effect here of my thumb movement, and I have the best feeling on it when my thumb is right here on this spot. That's very good. The Starlight, for example, you play different. The Starlight, you would play like more like this, way higher here on this point. So it's different. And if you are a Hati player, F-tip or claw, mostly play like this, or I play like this, like here even higher. And if you compare a Hati to a Pulsar, you see the Hati is way, way, way higher in the mid. Hati S is one of the highest, even if you compare to the Starlight, it's way higher. And if you are used to play a Hati S Ace, you kind of will have or get a hard time to play those, yeah, ZR shaped mice like those two. Kind of hard, to be honest. Maybe it's not the right choice then for you. But for all the others who are looking for a mouse with they can grab a little bit more in the end, which is not that thin, which has a little bit more width, this is a very good choice to play. And just to compare the big one with the G Pro, for example, and just in terms of size, even the size 2, which is the M, is a little bit shorter than a G Pro, and it's also flatter than a G Pro. If I have them here on the desk, I can tell you that the G Pro is still like, I don't know, half a centimeter higher. Also, the G Pro feels way more clunky because Pulsar made a lot of good shape improvements. As I talked already about the good mouse wheel placement, which is very good clickable, very good noticeable. They worked a lot on the side buttons. The side buttons look like they are, I don't know, they're just made for this mouse, you know. They're getting into the shape, or the side buttons are basically designed into the shape of the mouse. So the mouse feeling and the thumb feeling is very good. There was literally no point where I accidentally pressed the side button, because as you can see, it looks like it's getting into it. It's very good made. I like this very much. The designer or the guy who was in charge for this is thumbs up, man. Good work from my side. One of the best side buttons I've ever seen, to be honest. And this is a good. Yeah, it just shows what a company, a small company, which is not that young or not that old. That's like two years maybe old, 2.5 years old, is capable of doing or producing when they just listen to the clients, you know. If I compare it to the Vaxio, my last mouse video, awful mouse, coating awful, side buttons awful, mouse wheel awful. I don't know what they're doing. Vaxio, maybe you pay Pulsar some money and they make you the next mouse design. And then you may sell way more mouse than you would do with your fucking stupid designer you have right now. Which is, I don't know who you hired there, not gonna lie. So that's it basically. I'm pretty impressed by the Pulsar for the price point. For me, one of the best bang for the bucks right out now, which is available for buy in like, how many days? Let me check. In like 5 days, 10 days? I don't have a calendar on this PC. So I think on the 15th or something they start to sell and ship, and it's in some days, or I think it's one day after this video will go live, something like that, I don't know. But it's very good. You can spend your money also if you want to wait for a German shop. We will have it also in end of August available for you. And as you, or maybe you are here for the latency test. Also, I made a latency test with the mouse, and I just compared it with the Pulsar V2 Mini, the GWolf HSK Plus, which was one of the latest GWolf mouse. And I also measured the Superlight today again. So very fresh Superlight measurement, and I show you right now everything at the same time. You see the Pulsar V2 Mini is like 11.38 milliseconds, and the Pulsar X2 Mini, which has, in my opinion, only a different sensor, is like 11.16 milliseconds. That's only 0.22 milliseconds in difference, and I think it's basically the same design, the same firmware, basically everything is the same, only the sensor is the other one, a different one. And you will feel it when you track something, when you play Apex or something like that, you will definitely feel it. And then you have the HSK Plus by G-Boost with 0 milliseconds debounce, which is basically an identical time like the Pulsar X2 Mini. And then you have the GPX with a Nordic with a 52840 chip, and it's 7.42 milliseconds, which is very, very fast. I can tell you guys that's super fast. And I just want to express how important a good implementation is. I mean, this Nordic chip Logitech is using is way, way more expensive than the chip which is G-Boost or Pulsar is using. You know, it's like, I think it costs 4 or 5 times the money. And also, I think Logitech has way more cash to get a good firmware, or someone who makes the program more for a good firmware. So I always, on every test I made, I saw the improvements over the time, over a year. By Pulsar and by G-Boost, they started like with 18 or 60 milliseconds, and they are now at 11. And I hope next year they may be even closer to 7. But I think we will see this year 6 milliseconds somewhere, somehow. I have something in my mind, but I can tell you it's good to see that they improve, and I hope they're doing more work like this. Pulsar is doing awesome work, great work, and that's also the only reason why I think they are, or I want them in the La Onda shop, or I will tell La Onda to source them, because this mouse impressed me a lot, and I hope you understand that this video is not a sales video. It's just my opinion, and I want to express and explain that it's not always the most expensive mouse like a Viper for like 150, 160 or a Starlight. It's always or mostly the company which spends the most time in hearing and try to understand what the clients want and what the market wants. And Pulsar made a great work. Thumbs up again, Pulsar. You did a great work. And I want to say thank you again for sending me both of the samples to test them, and for sending me your software before you release it for the latency test. And I hope you're doing well, and I hope you do well in future. So guys, thanks everyone for watching. See you on the next video. Bye.